They range from champion footballers, past and present, to men and women of all ages from all walks of life. The common thread is their love of football, the bric-a-brac, the mementos, the trivia and the rarities. You will find them scouring junk shops, at sporting fairs and in the rooms of Australia's most prestigious auction houses. In this show we meet that burgeoning breed who are prepared to spend their hard-earned cash on a piece of memorabilia from years past. It might be a medallion, a footy jumper that has seen better days, or a scrap of paper with the name of a great champion inscribed forever. It may be displayed elegantly in pride of place, or quietly tucked away and put on display on special occasions. They're a rare group with a deep knowledge of football and its personalities. They are the collectors.
He's renowned as one of the quirkiest characters in the AFL. On this edition of The Collectors, we visit the home of Carlton's Glenn Manton, and we ask our man from Christie's, Robert Parsons, to appraise his collection.
We're here with Glenn Manton, who's famous for being a Carlton footballer but began life at Essendon. Interestingly, he played in the eras where those teams had great success and still are having great success. Glenn, some of your earliest trophies are quite interesting. They go back to when you began in football.
Yeah, I've got a couple of early ones here. This one obviously from the under-19s days. Back then, under-19s was your pathway to reserves and senior football, so this one in particular was a most improved trophy in 1990, and as you can see by the tarnished look of it, it was a pretty legitimate trophy, unlike some of the plastic ones that they give out today, so that's a nice little piece from back in those days.
And in 1992 you played in the Essendon Reserves, who were premiers, and this is an interesting little medal because it harks back to the old days of football in terms of its design, and it's probably much more interesting than some of the more recent senior medals, and quite unusual.
Yeah, I actually really like this medal. Once again, I think it tells a bit of a timeline, I guess, of the journey through football, and you don't forget where you've come from, and certainly coming from the under-19s and the reserves to play senior football, I think this was a big step to win the premiership as part of the Essendon team in 1992.
And you're unlucky that you did your hamstring just before the 93 finals, but of course the Baby Bombers won the premiership that year, and beating your current team Carlton, as I remember. Yes. And this is signed by all the Essendon players who played in that grand final.
Yeah, I've got a number of signatures on there, and yeah, look, it was a funny one, that one. I don't know whether I would have been lucky enough to make the team or not, but a hamstring injury certainly put paid to any efforts to play in that premiership team, but good luck to these guys, and luckily enough I was a member of Carlton to win one in 95.
Well, that's right. Timing is everything, as in life and sport, and you went from Essendon to Carlton, and were lucky enough to play in the 1995 team, who were the 1995 premiers, and probably one of the greatest football teams ever to play Australian rules. And we have the premiership medal, yes. Players medal from that year. Yeah,
well, to be honest, it's a bit of a disappointment when you compare it to something like the reserves one. I think it doesn't hold the same lustre and esteem, and I'm sure viewers have seen on other shows of this program that the past medals, the premiership medals, truly did hold a lot of sentimental value. I mean, not to displace this medal, it's still a tremendous medal, but to be honest, I think the AFL could come up with something.
From an artistic point of view.
Well, they could come up with something a little bit better.
Probably could, but nevertheless, it's rare and
I'm not giving it back.
It's rare and
I'm very happy with it.
Not many players have them.
Exactly.
And this is quite interesting. Carlton brought out a limited edition of this plate, which has all the players' images on the front, and on the back it has the names and scores of both the winning and losing team. And interestingly enough, a couple of those Geelong players are now Carlton boys.
Yeah, they've come across. We've got Michael Mansfield and Adrian Hickmott over there, and look, obviously this isn't your Friday night spaghetti plate, so it's looked after quite well. But once again, the interesting thing regarding this is looking at players' hairstyles and physiques and whatnot as they've changed over the years. So.
And again, you've got the premiership ball, which has got your signature on this one.
Yeah, lucky enough this time to get the signature on there. And by the way, if the AFL is watching this, I do love this medal. It is fantastic. I just would like to see it get a little bit more redesigned, find a little bit more culture in the middle.
A lot of people aren't aware of some of the rarer items in football memorabilia, and this is one. The Carlton Football Club, I think, are renowned for building the sort of social infrastructure and belief in the club, and this is a a very limited edition medallion or plaque that's given to each player every year. It has been for quite a while, I think. Yeah. This is from season 2000, but it's given to the players, I think, on Guernsey presentation night.
It is. Once again, it's a nice little piece for each player to take home regarding their place in the team on a yearly basis, and I think it was something the club initiated years gone by, and it dropped off a little bit, and it was only until I think actually 2000, 2001 etc. it sort of come back into vogue. So it's nice to the club that picks up on that.
I've seen some from very
nature.
Early days of football, even last century, where they were done as little medals and they were engraved and given out to players. Now, Glenn, you don't drink, and we've got 3 bottles,
got some bottles
lined
there.
Up here.
Yes. Actually, 3 drinks.
Now, I know about one of these, and this is of interest not just to football memorabilia collectors, but also to Coca-Cola bottle collectors. Every year at the Brownlow dinner for the last few years, Coca-Cola brought out a limited edition bottle. I think 1,500 they produce, and most of the players don't drink them, they take them home. These have changed hands at Christie's auctions for in excess of $500, depending on which Brownlow medal dinner it was and which player was selling it. So that's a double interest. It's football and Coca-Cola. This one probably appeals to beer drinkers. Can you want to tell us about that?
Look, I think Kevin Sheedy's well renowned for initiating strange and weird and wonderful games and different, I guess if you like, grudge matches throughout football. And this is one that I think Kevin pretty much started up against the Northern Territory Football League, and this is going back to 1994 when the Essendon team flew up there to take on the, as I said, the Northern Territory team in searing heat. And this is the trophy that was awarded at the end of the game. To be quite honest, I can't remember whether we won or lost. It was one of those sort of games, but I think it's quite an interesting trophy.
It sounds like it's got beer in it, which is amazing that it wasn't consumed in the Northern Territory.
Very interesting.
This is probably an important football for you, because I think it's one of your milestone games that you've got a souvenir of.
This one extends back to last year 2001, and my 150th AFL game. Hopefully this year, with a touch of luck. Touch wood, I'll play my 150th for Carlton, but obviously any milestone you can play in and sneak the ball, because you actually have to tear it out of the umpire's hands at the end of the game. It's not easy to come by, and you might, I don't know if you can get a camera shot of that, but you can see here where the umpires they actually cut the ball up with their little knives and whatnot to give them better grip for bouncing the ball. So it's quite an interesting little footy, that one.
We've had a look at some interesting items today from Glenn's career, but I think he's got a lot of things in storage, and some of the most important trophies actually couldn't be here today. We're going to have a look at the most important trophy in Glenn's career to date.
Well, among those, I won't discount photos of my wife and whatnot, but this is obviously one with my son Oscar, taken on a massage bench during the final series of the year 2000, and as a bit of a timeline, we've got another one here of Oscar pre-season 2002, and you can see how he's grown, and I guess really to spend days like your 150th with your kids is a great honour and a special privilege, and please get a shot of this little one down here. This is little Archie in there too. He doesn't get much of a run. He's been a little bit too small to really engage in too much football, but hopefully this year he'll run out for my 150th for Carlton.
Okay, good. Well, I don't think I can put a value on those particular trophies, but of the things here, I guess the viewers would like to know the values of some of them. I would think, unfortunately, you're going to hate to hear this, but the most valuable thing is probably the 1995 player medal, and I would think that's worth $4,000 to $5,000, given that it's yours and that you played in such a fantastic team that year. Next would probably be your 150th game match football. Obviously, the more valuable things are things that have direct association with important games and important players. And I would think that the match football, if you get it inscribed with the details of the match, will be worth perhaps $2,000 to $3,000. And then probably your very early trophy, the little under-19s best and fairest, I would think that'd be $1,000 to $1,500. So Glenn, keep collecting and good luck this year.
Yeah, I'm off to cash converters as we speak.